right, so I got back at it again, and
Starting
I
off the
guess just,
season.
so starting it off with a back at it, and this one was a difficult one to pick in general, but it's actually more of a recent film. So let's see if anybody even has any idea what it is, especially based
God.
off of this here. A woman faces danger while flying on a World War II bomber, and there's something creepy on board.
So did
Is
they?
it a man?
Danger or creepy?
Yeah, Sam's got a good question. Is it just a dude?
Right? Is there just a guy staring at it the whole time? Like,
He has no money and is extra
My
scary. Or is it like, is there an alien on board? Did we mix
Right.
Dunkirk? They were like,
Is it
Dunkirk did
Ghost?
well, Alien did well. Let's
yeah.
combine the two.
Mash them up. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is this one, Tim?
Shadow in the Cloud.
I've
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's I hadn't either until this year. When did I watch? I don't even remember.
It
but I
might
was
have been
like,
5
okay,
years
'cause
ago.
It was such a great premise, and I was like, okay, and then so we'll see what happens. But
All right.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
I'm excited.
There's a lot of memes on this one.
Oh,
really?
shit.
Okay.
You have to
Yeah.
share, man.
I'm excited now.
You'll probably recognize it as you see the scenes in this movie, but there's actually a handful of memes and just people talk shit about it all the time.
Nice.
Nice. Excited.
Hey guys, welcome back to Flipper Flicks. Just a reminder, don't feed your goblins or gremlins or anything of the sort clouds or after midnight. I don't know which is more
I've
important.
never understood that. Like, all time is after midnight except for
Exactly.
the time at midnight.
Yeah.
Like, they don't say don't feed your pet between midnight and 6 a.m., which I think, okay, that's better. Like, or like don't feed it till dawn.
Right.
I get grumpy about this. I've never seen Gremlins.
I mean, it makes sense, right? Because if you think about it logically, you're like, well, chicken or the egg, right? It's the same thing. Don't
Yeah.
feed it after midnight. Well, if it's been old enough to be after a midnight, then technically, would you not feed it ever?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like,
This is so
okay,
confusing.
I get
Yeah.
grumpy about it.
I bet it is just literally a shortened down thing of like, don't feed something, whatever animal between midnight and 6 a.m.
Yeah,
just a
it's
water
100%.
shorten. It's just a
Yeah.
something play on that, but yeah.
Yeah,
This
that's.
movie has nothing to do with that, really.
I mean, there's gremlins in
I
it.
don't really know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, okay. Sam's hot.
Oh, are we just not saying our names? Adam's here as well.
And then
Oh,
that guy's
Tim's
name
here
is
as well.
Tim.
Yeah.
And we are Flipper Flicks, but that's been said.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, like, you should know our names, right?
Right.
Unless you're new to the show, in which case,
Yeah.
hello.
And welcome.
Yeah.
We're stupid.
Everybody else is like, I know who these people are.
Right. Yeah.
But you passed to me because you were like, you have thoughts about this movie, and I
But
do
we
have
haven't
thoughts about
said the
this movie.
name of this movie.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Oh,
Or the
yeah.
synopsis.
Shadow
Or the
of
better
Cloud.
written synopsis. And Tim, do you remember the category?
Yeah, back at it again.
But
I
them
also
white
said the
bands.
movie, but I probably shouldn't have said it. But
You're good. You're allowed to say it. You got to tell what's the synopsis?
oh, I thought you were dropping that in later.
No, we're that's before this. They already heard the bad version of it.
Oh, you want the real one? I didn't
Yeah.
know we were doing the real
Yeah,
one.
yeah, I want the
Hold
real
on.
one.
He's not
Hold on.
prepared. Not prepared.
I thought we were doing the real one.
So
too.
Sam, how are you feeling today?
Whoa! Of course, I opened IMDb. Well, hold on.
Wait,
And I
Tim,
get
is this-
distracted because ADD. Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Watch
yeah,
the trailer.
that poster is awful.
It is very bad.
It's so terrible. Like, I can't
What is
gather.
going on?
They're just all staring.
Yeah, it's very awkward looking. I don't understand. Anyway,
But again, still not Shadow in the Cloud.
yeah.
Different
like I said.
film.
Like I said, ADD. Okay, so here's the real synopsis. A female World War II pilot traveling with top secret documents on a B 17 Flying Fortress encounters an evil presence on board the flight.
What?
Dun, dun,
That was
That's
a
cool.
flying fortress?
Yeah, B 17s. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
it
but
doesn't
like,
look like it because it's small.
dun. Yeah.
yeah, that plane in this film
Yeah, but
did
they
not
have
look
guns, bombs, the
like it. I
whole sort-
know.
They have a
Area
bottom
thing.
turret and a top turret.
Yeah, that bottom turret,
and
though.
a tail turret
Oh
And
shit.
a front turret.
and side turrets.
So many turrets. That's how it's a fortress.
And that's why they're a fortress. Yep. Yeah.
But it does sound cool, like, and the story sounds cool, and then you see the gremlin.
Yeah. Well, no, it's before then. Then, before they've showed all the 50 million production companies that are involved in this, they show this little video about like gremlins, and I'm like, hold up, this movie is not fucking about gremlins. Like, I was like, because from that synopsis, like, it kind of sounded to me like this like actual horror movie kind of like Alien vibe.
Oh,
right?
no, that just came out.
So all of a sudden, like, I'm flipped off my axis. Like, this is about fucking gremlins.
Yeah.
And then you continue to watch.
Yeah.
So Sam here was hoping to watch The Last Voyage of Demeter,
Yes, basically.
which is Dracula on a boat.
Oh, that's a great one. That's a great one.
Yeah. So, like, it doesn't need to be Dracula. It doesn't need to be an alien, but it can't be a fucking gremlin.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
But that cartoon is actually based off of real life cartoons that we had in the U.S. military in
Yeah.
the 1940s.
Well, they said, like, a gremlin's just what, like, code for somebody fucking up? And, like, that would have been a better
Snafu.
storyline, too, is if
It
they
would've been
somehow
great.
made you, like, question what she's seeing. You know what I mean? Like, they kind of play around with that in the beginning, but not
100%.
really.
Yeah, like if she's almost like they never actually show it, and then she thinks like you'll see things like flash real quick or something like move, and then so the whole time you're thinking there's a gremlin, and it's literally just them like fucking up.
Yeah.
that would have actually been a great twist.
Right?
Or, like, just not show the gremlin till like 99%, like 90% of the way into the film.
Yeah, like a good horror film.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
tease the creature, you don't show it immediately.
Well, A Quiet
Yeah.
Place showed, but that's like the exception to the rule.
Did they show it at the
Yeah.
beginning?
They do show it at the beginning.
Oh,
So,
'cause-
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're the
I'm trying to-
exception to the rule.
I
trying to
still
think.
feel like they hide it though the rest of the movie,
No,
right? Like,
not
Well, okay,
really.
so the point of them, so there's two ways to look at it because I'm thinking of other films right now, and usually good horror films or good monster movies either show you the creature up front and then you don't see it a lot throughout the film until the climax, or it builds up like an Alien where you see it a little bit, you get little pieces here and there, it's very
Yeah.
dark, and then
Yeah.
eventually you get to see the whole thing. So there's two ways, in my opinion, to do a proper monster movie, and this one just basically showed you the gremlin the entire time. from what I
Yeah.
understand.
And that's not a gremlin. That's a
I
bat.
don't know. It's a bat thing. I don't really know.
A bat monkey.
Yeah, that's not even. It's some kind of mutated bat.
yeah, and the music was fucking off too. Like,
You see me in those 80s techno
Oh.
beats?
like
I loved the music, but it didn't go with
it
it at
doesn't
all.
make
No, yeah.
sense.
It
Like-
made no sense, but the music was actually good. Like,
Yeah,
I enjoyed it,
yeah.
but it literally made no sense.
It
Yeah.
didn't fit the film. And I'm like,
No.
did you get the wrong soundtrack?
yeah, I'm like, my dude, you should have been on a different movie. Like, you messed up.
Yeah.
Dude, so like if I was taking a shave over like when that jet landed, it would go like, "Ee!" If you watched the F-35 video from South Carolina,
That
you
went
know
missing.
that went missing, you would know what that is a reference to.
Yeah.
Sorry,
it was,
did you watch the local news video, Tim? Of the
Uh-uh.
guy who found it?
No.
Oh, do yourself a
it's worth
favor.
watching.
It's fucking
Okay.
hilarious. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
But it was hard to watch this movie because this had just happened a few days ago, and I was like, all the memes are in my head while we're watching
Yeah.
this plate.
Yeah.
Well, and then what's the other one
I
that
know.
fits this movie? The other airplane meme. That motherfucker's not real,
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty good. Yeah.
which fits this film very well.
Yeah.
For the first couple minutes, and then it starts to become like it doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't know. Cause like I don't know. I think the very beginning part of it was where it had me the most, where she's like climbing in the turret. You can tell she's claustrophobic. She kind of can see stuff. She kind of can't see stuff. The dudes aren't paying attention to her. Like all of that, I was like, okay, like this is
That's-
kind of weird, but like you're on the right track. And then
Right.
Dude's not paying
Falls apart.
attention to her, what is a considerate way of being a complete and total asshole to her.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
you know.
Being of the times, would that be a proper way to say it?
yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. There was so much about this movie that it had so much potential in so many different ways.
Yeah, because you watched it back when it came
So,
out.
exactly. So that's why I picked it. I was like, okay, I thought this was terrible when I first watched it. There was a lot of things, and I was like, I'm gonna pick it again because I want to see your guys' opinion, and I want to see if I can get past the moments
last
of
scene,
just utter disbelief that you're supposed to have for it, because I couldn't the first time, and it's much the same this time.
Yeah, no,
like there's too much. It's based way too much in reality for the crap that happens to be like you could just shrug off, and be like it's a movie. It's like if you're gonna base your movie in reality,
make
like
it
even
reality.
with the Gremlin, it's based on normal people. This shit just doesn't fly.
That,
no pun intended.
And it doesn't value the audience's time, because exponentially it gets worse and worse, is my opinion. Like the first minutes we're talking about these grievances, we're like, okay, whatever, I'm still with you. I don't know, by maybe minute half hour, I'm like, dude, fuck this movie. Like there's so much going on. Like the romance aspect of it that they're tossing in there, the fucking baby on board. Like
how ridiculous.
That gets ridiculous. And then they ratchet it up when she's like climbing around the plane.
Oh my God.
Like I'm like, why? How is this getting worse? Like
she's climbing around and she clearly isn't traveling at 100 miles per hour in the, like in the sky. She's not, there's no wind, like there's a very little breeze, but there's like nothing. She's just climbing around, and then the baby satchel hanging there like is just barely swings. And it's like it would be like slamming.
That baby's dead.
Like, the baby would be
that
dead
baby
way
would be
before this.
a soup. Yeah.
Like just by the time she's like her turret snaps off and she's
hanging upside down,
but nothing looks like she's hanging upside down, and then you're like, it can't get worse, and then she finally falls, and I'm like, fucking yes, she's dying. Let's get it done with. And then she fucking blows back up into the plane. I'm like, oh my God.
I knew Sam was gonna love that scene.
Things.
I cannot.
So many things wrong with that scene. Like it's just endless. It's almost pointless to talk about like how bad that scene is, just because it's quite literally endless. I mean, she gets caught with the bandage that's on her hand. Yeah. Then she falls. Then the plane blows up with enough force to push her up, which usually what kills people in an explosion is the actual explosion, not the fire and stuff like that. Because like your bones and shit, your organs can't handle it. Even if you outside of your body can't. The problem with explosions, usually your brain gets rattled around your skull and then you die. Same with falling. That's what kills you, is when you fall, is when your brain bounces around your head usually. But your internal organs are what suffer through. So it's like, she gets thrown and then smashes against the top of the airplane and falls back down. But she also
not in the hole.
At the same speed. Right, yeah. But she falls at the same speed as the airplane's flying, which would not happen. Yeah.
There's a lot of physics that did not go into this film.
So much bullshit,
Mostly in that scene. Now, Sam was saying this. Sam said this hour and 23-minute movie was too long.
Yeah.
Sam's gonna be down to like shorts here soon.
There's a lot of like moments where she's just like screaming or going off that just don't need to be there.
It's just over the top fuckery.
Like,
so this is
starting at minute 20 onwards.
The writing of this is it's kind of funny. I don't know if it's funny. This guy named Landis originally wrote this screenplay. And he wrote it, and he got kicked off because he had a bit of sexual misconduct against him, some sexual harassment claims. So that I get the fuck off this film, that's portraying a strong female character. I feel like you're not the right guy for the job. So they gave it to the director, Roseanne Liang, who, when looking at the script, noticed this guy did the age-old high school trick of increasing your font size to make your paper longer.
Oh my goodness.
Most films are 90 pages because a page is about a minute. This film was 60 pages.
They should have kept it at that hour mark.
And she wrote a bunch of additional dialogue and action scenes, or extended them, in order to make this film be an hour, not even an hour and a half.
So you can't even blame her, because it's not necessarily her original idea. She had to compound on somebody else's idea, and so you can see where the confusion comes in, but still.
And then the dude that's originally wrote the film said that he's like, that's still 90 to 95% my film. So Sam, does this make you feel any better?
Yeah, agree with Tim. Don't write any more films.
You should
Yeah.
pause your
You
career.
should
I'm sorry.
pause.
Yeah.
And I got super salty last night when
Like
I was
flaming,
like I was like real mad, but today I'm kind of more chill about it. But I was
Yeah.
like, this is some bullshit because I told Adam, I was like, there's no way that like a woman was involved in the making of this movie. Like it's just not. Like this was a boys' club. And then like
Yeah.
the first thing is like the director or the writer, and I was like, motherfucker. Like people do not need like women do not need movies like this, okay? Like where they're boss ladying their way through in some unrealistic fashion, which makes no fucking
Yeah.
sense. And then like to hear that she wrote some of the dialogue, like I'm hoping she wrote some of the beginning dialogue because that's the actual part that would like resonate with someone. Not I'm
Yeah.
gonna go kick this gremlin's ass and then fucking nurse my baby because I'm such a boss mom. Like
Yeah.
what the fuck?
That
You
was
have no
so
idea how far I'll go.
that was so
Right?
fucking weird. Like,
God.
so I bitched about this in the past where I'm like, we just watched these people nonstop and they didn't pee, poop, or eat anything.
Nap.
Nap. But now we finally see somebody like actually, go through the act of feeding a baby.
Yeah.
Because a baby would need food.
Baby would have died before that.
Right.
Slash baby
Yeah.
needed food way before that.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, that wasn't needed.
I just it's not necessarily even that. It's just that like it's so far out of touch of what like I'm sure moms would like to hear. And then also from the other perspective of like not everybody has to be a fucking mom. Like you had this great character that then
Yeah.
you kind of basically like soiled her reputation essentially.
Yep.
And I was like, this is bullshit also.
Now, so I thought this movie originally was going to go in a different direction.
Yeah. Same.
I thought she was going to be like
Yeah.
some like CIA member because
Ooh.
she literally isn't allowed to give up her
Something
shit.
like, yeah.
Like she was
Yeah.
like special operations or something where like she literally can't divulge it. And then they're like, nah, she's basically a civilian.
Yeah.
Because apparently to the U.S. military, women in her role were still like would still be considered civilians and not flight officers
Oh,
by law during that time.
that makes sense
Um,
for the time.
but she would have flown B-17s.
I was wondering about that because she was talking about how she was doing cargo flights or
Yeah.
something, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's where I thought that maybe she was still just like covering her ass because I was
Yeah.
like,
Right.
is that right?
Yeah, apparently back in the war, like they would build them in the U.S. and then they'd have these like some of them piloted by women,
Mm-hmm.
flight officers that would fly the new jet out to like the airbase or whatever.
Gotcha. But I just want to say how like most of this episode we've just been rewriting this film in other better
Yeah,
ways.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
CIA.
if we just tweak this
Essentially.
one thing,
Yeah.
this movie is already abundantly
Make
What
better.
this thing in every scene, and we're good.
All right, let's just throw this one idea out. What if it was a gremlin baby, and that's why there was a fucking gremlin on it trying to get its goddamn baby back?
Holy shit!
Would
You
that
tied
make
the
it
whole
better?
And
thing
then she was
together.
actually undercover, and then she stole the gremlin's baby, but the gremlin followed her
Exactly.
onto the plane, and then you're like, oh shit! And then she gives the gremlin baby to the baby or the gremlin at the end, instead of the cringe ass fucking killing the gremlin scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it's like it was.
I think the other issue we kind of talked about it is like the synopsis sets you up for like a psychological horror.
Yeah.
And
so,
it
like,
was at first.
Yeah, it was.
Or like
yeah.
like a supernatural sort
Yeah.
of situation, or something like that. Like there's gonna be some mystery to it. Nope.
So it's almost
Yep.
like the synopsis. Whoever was writing like the content for this movie, not the dude that wrote the script, like the marketing people or whoever writes the fucking synopsises. I don't even know.
I don't know.
They were like, we want this
ChatGPT?
movie to be better, so we're gonna give it a better synopsis. But
Yeah.
like,
How do we
actually
hook
ruin
people to
people's
actually
lives.
watch it besides saying
Yeah.
Gremlin? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Also, make it scarier looking. If you're gonna call yourself a horror film, don't make it
Yeah.
look. Well, some
Did
people.
they have it slotted as a horror?
It is a horror action film,
Okay.
And look.
and
'Cause
you
I
can
was,
call
like,
that as a
wondering-
haction or a hack job.
Yeah, a hack job. Because I was just wondering, like, did I just invent this in my mind because of the synopsis and the ChatGPT synopsis we got, or is this like actually how they advertised
Right.
it? Because like the cover on Hulu, I don't know the regular poster, but the cover on Hulu just makes it look like an action film.
It does. Yeah.
Oh yeah, horror action films like Till Death. Mandy is a horror action film.
That's accurate.
Yes.
They forgot weird, but
True.
The Meg is a horror action film. Prey. Now
Mm.
Prey's really fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Yeah. I just
Go check out that episode.
Yeah, was super disappointed in this movie. That's all I have to say. And I
Yeah.
kept getting
Yeah.
more disappointed as
Fucking
it
Yeah,
went.
secretaries these days.
It just compounds. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
it had so much potential.
I still think the turret scene, like, you had something there.
Which one?
Like when she's in the bubble. She's still in the bubble.
Mhm.
Okay.
They had a film there. There was a film at first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I liked that she was stuck in the bubble.
Yeah, because that
Right,
in
it's-
itself is already kind of like stressful.
Yeah. That already
Yeah.
The
adds-
audience.
Yeah. Yep.
You're like, I can see how this is gonna get fucked up, especially when you look at the turret and you're like, that's janky as hell. Like,
Right. It's like
I
half
wouldn't
falling
want to
off
be
the whole
there.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then eventually it does fall off.
Yeah. Well, and there was even this lovely piece of dialogue about how people always go crazy down there because they're basically just
Yeah,
looking at their death. And I
exactly.
was like,
Yeah.
take that and make the movie we deserved. God damn
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Well, and then there's a scene. So there's two other scenes I wanted to talk about. Basically, once she gets blown up into the ship, every single person she talks to, save for Beckel,
Yeah.
fucking dies
Yeah,
immediately.
they die immediately.
So
Yeah.
don't talk to this bitch.
But
Right.
also, like,
She's
how
a
is she
curse.
avoiding it all of that time? Like, it's like, what the fuck?
PLOTAR
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. Okay, so what was the other scene you want?
Yeah. So she starts giving this. So the gremlin's running around, it just clawed
Just-
into her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we watched it climb into the thing. Or maybe it's not that scene. At one point, somebody was freaking out about the gremlin and she just starts giving off a speech. And the gremlin talk just stopped. The gremlin stopped attacking to whoever it was.
What? I didn't notice that.
It might have not been
guy on the
attacking.
ground,
Yeah.
right? A guy on the floor, and then it was like attacking him. I thought she shot at it, and that's why I got distracted.
No. This is a different time. She was still in the bubble. It was like when Beckles first started seeing it.
Oh, right.
They just like he just saw it and he's like, it's right here, it's right here. And then she goes on a speech for about 2.5 minutes. You would think that they would have interrupted her at least one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the gremlin would have done something. I was just like, what is this monologue?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
It was when she like was talking about her life story and how she married an abusive husband.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That long ass speech,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, it's a fine speech. It's just I felt like the gremlin just went back because this film tried to be a romance.
Yeah, they should have
Yeah,
put
it
the
was-
gremlin like after that or before that. You know what I mean? Like somehow moved it.
Yeah.
Right.
So the critics of this film, I want you to hold on tight, gang.
Mm-hmm.
77%.
Mm-hmm.
Audience 32.
Okay, that's more accurate.
IMDb 5.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Google 56.
Wow.
Wow, Google.
The
All
Google
right.
Heights are like
Google knows what's up, guys.
Yeah.
But oh my god. Technically speaking, Google's still claiming that 1 in 2 people will turn this on
Yeah.
based on how
Turn
it
it
works.
on or like it.
Or just they would like it or rather than dislike it.
'Cause I feel like I turn on a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tim, you and I are pretty bad. Sam's a little
Yeah.
better.
No, but he just means volume wise. He will start a lot
Oh
of
no.
movies.
I
Yeah.
just mean like the like button.
I know.
Oh, I don't do that. I just turn on a lot of movies. And then
Yeah.
I'll get 10, 15 minutes in, usually stop. For some reason, I didn't with this one.
This can't be
I
that.
just,
Well, the first 30 minutes aren't the worst, and then you were like, sunken cost. I'm just gonna finish it. It's only 50 more minutes.
yeah. Well, so we were watching it together, and then we watched a much better film after it, Lawmageddon, which I fell asleep during, but
Nice.
apparently it was amazing. And
With a
then we
name
should
like
just
that.
watch that
Sold.
instead.
Yeah.
Because we were both like, that movie was absolute shit.
Yeah.
And then we watched Lawmageddon, and we were into it like hardcore.
And then Tim collapses.
Yeah. and I pass out.
But Tim, as the picker of the film, are you flipping it on, and where do you have your rank?
And how do you feel about it compared to your first watch? Just all of that.
Yeah, I mean, coming off the height of The Sixth Sense to this, they couldn't be more opposite. I mean, this is just a bad film. This is not good. It had so much promise. It just, I mean, cinematography was great. Acting was shit. Music I loved, but it didn't match
It doesn't make
match
sense.
at all.
Yeah.
Which
Doesn't
makes
make
me hate
sense
it.
for what they were going for. But so yeah, it's definitely a flip off. And so I guess of two, right? Because Sixth Sense would be one. So it's ranked
but
two.
we're gonna just go ahead and throw him down at 11 for you.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Is there a 12?
Well, there's a 17. You can already put it at the bottom.
Let's go ahead and put that down at 17.
That's what Sam said. Or
stole my
17.
thunder.
I feel
16.
like it's
16.
this, we've already figured out the low
Yeah.
for the season.
Season. It's 16, not 17. But no, that's regardless.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's where I have it on my list too. Like, I literally made sure to be like, this is the last fucking movie on my list. Like, it's gonna be hard to dethrone the last spot. I think it's just like overall disappointment in a lot of things, and it keeps getting more disappointed. And so I can't justify anything about this film. So I'm gonna flip it off. Adam, are you gonna be the lone
No,
believer?
God, no. God, no. This is atrocious. Just flat out bad.
Indeed. And people, we like bad films for what it's worth.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's why I gave it a shot the second time. I was like,
Well,
maybe I was just, I don't know.
So what's funny about Back at It Again is most likely when you first watched it, you had a less critical eye, or like you weren't looking at it
Exactly.
in the same manner.
Right. Yeah.
So
there was-
rewatching it, you're going to be much more critical.
Right. And that's why I was hoping. I was like, okay, well, maybe I can get past that because I've seen it. So I know what the ridiculous scenes are. No, it didn't matter.
Yeah, you like set the precedent.
It
in
was
your
just
head.
too bad.
Have we had a Back at It Again where
Yes.
somebody actually was
Yes.
like, it's not as bad as I remember?
It was literally you,
It was
and I
me?
think it was the first one. It was There Will Be Blood.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't as bad as I
Oh.
remember. See? So even with a more
Yeah.
critical eye.
Fucking
doesn't
Steel
mean-
Trap.
Yeah, I'm glad
Yeah.
you have our whole Flipflix history downloaded in your brain.
Yeah.
Now, if I could just type it out one day, we'll write a biography on us
Oh,
and
gosh.
sell it to our parents.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, that was dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, so next week I'm up to bat. Yeah, it's 16 as well, whatever. You know
the
we
way
all
at the
love it.
bottom.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so next week I'm up to bat. And I got classic.
Ooh.
I'm going to take
Uh-oh.
these folks from 1944 and put them in a movie made from it.
Ooh. Okay.
Something old. I actually don't know what year it's going to be. So, yeah. But I do want to want everybody to know that I got an ad that's like, get your school fit outfits here at YouTube Shorts. And I'm like,
What?
What?
my back to school out. I'm not in school.
Also, it's past back to school time.
Man, it's
people are
past
in
back to school.
People have been to school for a while. man.
Jeez. Targeted ads. I don't really know why that's targeted at me.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I'm not
Find
gonna.
out next week. I'm just kidding.
Adam's got new kicks.
Yeah. It worked.
If you like this episode, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at FlipperFlix. I guess we don't have to say it anymore, but I'm going to do it anyway because I'm old. Follow along, see what we're doing. Interact if you'd like to.
Yeah, hit us up there. I don't know. You can also give us recommendations on other of those sites, or you can go to our website at www.flipperflix.com. Yeah, we do a couple recommendations each season, so we just love we're trying to pander right now. We're trying to get you to come to our website, give us some clicks, and recommend us a movie because, we're going to have to pick those eventually, and more the merrier, right?
Yeah.
You can also, speaking of pandering, you can also rate and review us on Apple, Spotify now. Oh, we also do polls there occasionally. So that's always fun.
Answer Adam's questions.
Answer all of my questions, God damn it.
And if you're wondering, when can I catch these fools? You can catch us at 1 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays. We're on Spotify, as Adam mentions, where he does his polls. We're on Apple, Google, Amazon. I believe you can subscribe on the various platforms, and that way you'll get like a push notification, or it'll come right into your queue, so that way you don't ever have to look at the clock on Thursday. It'll just be there for you. Kitty!
Can you read that? Can you read that? Bye, Vader.